Yo, what's goody? It's your boy. Man, it's been a while since I've done a stream on here. I think the last time I did a stream was for the Doctor Strange Johnski. So, yeah, I'm back. I am live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook right now. Kind of lit. Kind of lit. How y'all people feeling though? I hope you're having a good night. Hope you're having a good night. Hope you're watching some television shows, man. Because that's what we're gonna be talking tonight, dog. And I'm gonna let y'all know right now. There's gonna be spoilers. I'm gonna be talking spoilers for every show I'm talking about. And I'm only talking about four. It's gonna be the ones that I'm talking that's on the thumbnail. So I'm talking Kenobi. I'm talking The Boys season 3, Stranger Things 4, and we're gonna be talking about Miss Marvel. Ironically, like I was not going to be watching that show, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna watch it." I was just chilling at the crib earlier today. I was like, "Fuck it, let me watch these 2 episodes, see what they're hitting for." Because when I saw the trailers, I was like, "Yep, this isn't going to be for me." And wow, lo and behold, it was. So those are the shows we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking some DC. What else we're going to talk? Ezra Miller, fortunately, and honestly, whatever other stories that I find fascinating. So, yeah, just going to give it a couple of minutes, let people come get in here. Should be good times, people. Should be good times. Oh, I got a great story. That's fascinating. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it like a minute more, then we'll get started. All right. So what are we going to kick off with first? All right. So I guess we're going to go ahead and get into this Miss Marvel, because that's on the top. That's on my mind right now. That's on the top of my mind right now. All right. So Miss Marvel. I'm going to let you know right now. I was not looking forward to this show at all. I wasn't going to watch this show. Like when I saw the trailers, like I said, I was like, not for me. I'm not going to check it. I'll skip this one. I'll skip this MCU one. God damn it, man! Am I lucky that my interest got me, Doug? I'm really glad my interest got me. Hello, Evil Master 1080. Nice. Hello. How are you doing? I hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling all good. Wow, I just did him commented on whatever. Evil Master. I hope you're doing all right. But yeah, so Miss Marvel. This show's really good. This show's really good, and I'm surprised I like it. I'm doing all right. Um, I'm surprised that I like it as much as I do. It really it honestly it reminds me of like a late '90s, early 2000s sitcom with a twist of Marvel, honestly, and it's good. Like that's what makes the show great, honestly, and it really builds these characters and makes you fall in love with her family. It's a family show, honestly. This is something like if I had children, I would watch this show with my children weekly. It's that good. But and yeah, Miss Marvel is dope. Miss Marvel is not a show or a comic that I was really fascinated by. I'm like, look, I'm more of like the the like not hardcore comics, but like basically like the team up stuff and characters that I like. So I'll read like Thor. What else would I read? The Avengers comics, things like that. When I was reading comics, I'm slowly starting to get back into comics. It's kind of hard because I work a lot, um, but yeah, man. I never was really interested in the character. Honestly, in the comics, I always found her annoying. I liked her more so in the Avengers comics, the all new, all different Avengers. I like that team. I like that lineup. They were pretty cool. Like her and Miles Morales' whole like teen romance thing was very fascinating. And it's like I've as I've become older, I've slowly liked like that high school draw element. I've never really been into it. And as I got older, I've gotten into it, honestly, like, especially with like Spider-Man Homecoming. And that's where the show shines. Like, to me, like, we had the promise of Spider-Man's going to be in high school, right? And we were going, it was going to be high school stuff. And I feel like they didn't really have time to flesh that element out as much because it's like a, hour and a half, 2 hour film. So you really don't have that much time to, because this show, like they have the time to do that. They have the pacing and ability to do that, to flesh out these characters. And this story is so beautiful. And even how they incorporate her background into it. It's not too ham-fisted like a lot of these shows do, with whether the character's black. Like I felt like Falcon and Winter Soldier, for example, like they ham-fisted a lot of the elements of Sam being black and what it means for a black man to become Captain America. Like I like those elements in the show, but at times they were ham-fisted. Like when the cops pulled up on everything, I'm like, y'all could have done this better. You feel me? Like, at times it came off as pandering. I'm not gonna lie. This though is so seamless, and I think the stylistic choices they made with this show, like I feel like they focus more on the style, that those elements, the like the style of it, how it's like shot, edited, and all that, and they focused on that and the characters. Because every single, I love almost every. There's no character I dislike in the show at all. My favorite characters are dad. I love her dad. Her dad is amazing. He's literally like they took a '90s sitcom or early 2000s sitcom father and just slapped them right in here. Like I feel like when they were like coming up with ideas or how this show was pitched, they were like, think '90s, early 2000s sitcom. I really believe that because it comes off as that. It comes off as such, but it has that element, that comedic element of like Malcolm in the Middle and things like that. Like when she's like fantasizing about stuff and everything, it's like that element. It's almost like that dance number that they did in Legion when he was like in the he was in the mental hospital and they did that whole dance number and everything. It reminds me of that a little bit. And we also have another dance number to talk about when we get to the boys. But man, like everything. So like the show basically starts off showing you how, Kamala, she's not like a complete like outcast or anything like that. She's just like a weird girl in high school. People don't like and I'm glad they don't showcase the bullying like they usually do in shows. Like they're not really bullying her, they're just teasing her because like, oh, it's the weird girl. Like you'll see the guy dribble the basketball in front of her, making fun of her and everything. And she's trying to get to her locker, and there's like a couple on there that won't move. It's kind of like in Spider-Man Homecoming when he was trying to get in his locker and the two kids kissing wouldn't move, so he had to like squeeze by and get him off and pull his butt. It's amazing. It's really amazing. But yeah, like those elements are great, and I feel like they have the time to really focus on that. Um, and it's fantastic. Her friend Bruno, I have a theory about Bruno, and I'm going to say that right now. I may be wrong. I think Bruno is in some way, shape, or form related to the Tinkerer from Spider-Man Homecoming. So we haven't seen the Tinkerer since Spider-Man Homecoming. We don't know if he got away. We don't know what happened. Let me know if I'm tripping, if there was like some background thing in the later Spider-Man films or any other MCU films. Um, um, let me know if that's in there or not. But as far as I know, my knowledge from what I've seen, like we don't know if he got away or got caught or whatever. And it's very fascinating. That would be a very good tie-in element to Spider-Man, because as we know, obviously people don't know who Peter Parker is, but they know who Spider-Man is. So that villain would still exist and be around. So it would be kind of dope to tie it in like that, and it'll explain why he's so tech savvy. Because as you see in the show, he builds her these gloves and everything. He has all this tech to see. He's like doing like a bio reading of her body when she puts the bingle on and everything that gives her powers and everything. So it's very fast. It would be very great tie-in and fascinating tie-in at that, to make him in some way, shape, or form related to the Tinkerer or associated with the Tinkerer somehow. Like maybe he's like a disciple of the Tinkerer or something. Who knows? Because they're in Jersey. Like they can literally see New York from where they're at. So it would be really great if they were to tie that in somehow. But like Bruno, I forgot what her female friend is called. It's the girl that wears the hijab and everything. Like those elements too, when they went to the mosque in episode 2 and everything, you see them running in, and the one girl has her hijab on already, and Kamala's like has her off, and when she gets in, she's trying to tie it up. They're putting her shoes away. Everything like is great about this. Like they really like take you into the, into her life, the ins and outs of it, the good, the bad. And that's where, like, I feel like they really, when it's like, when it's bad, obviously it's a teenage show, so bad for her is like getting hit in the face like she did with a dodgeball and her nose bleeding and everything. Like, and like just the scene where, so the first episode revolves around her wanting to go to Avengers Con, and they set up this element of her and her mom not having the best relationship. Coming from a Pakistani and a Muslim household, Islamic household, they tend to be conservative. So her mother isn't really with her wearing certain clothes and everything. And it's fascinating to see that because you're getting exposure to a different culture. And like I said, they're not ham fisting the culture. It's subtle. It's subtle things. Like her mom doesn't want her to go to this Avenger Con because when she hears about Captain Marvel, oh, she wears a skin tight suit, and her mom's like very conservative, where her dad is like, you can tell her dad's more liberal, and everything. Like he acts more like a Westerner than like some, like somebody from, I think she's from Pakistan, somebody from Pakistan would act. And it's very fascinating to see that dynamic because the dad wants her to go experience these things and, experience life, but her mom wants her to stick more to the culture and things like that. So it's very fascinating to see that conflict going on, between those two characters. So her mom doesn't want her to go to this Avenger Con, and like it's very interesting because, like I said, stylistically, it's like it's almost like a live action Spider-Verse, and that kind of gives me hopefully for a live action like Spider-Verse Miles Morales. And it will be very fascinating to see that, but it's very much like that stylistically and everything. Like it's like a comic book, honestly. There was a scene where her and Bruno are riding through the city, and they're talking about like different Avengers characters and everything. And you see like every hero they talk about, they pop up on a wall and like this animation and move around. It's crazy and amazing. Like just everything. The pacing in the show is beautiful, man. The pacing is so beautiful and seamless. It's like, so how like traditionally like in Star Wars films where you would have like the circle pan out and everything, so they would like when they cut to a new scene, it's like, how they do their cuts and transitions and everything. It's very much like that, but like in this animated, it's like Ned's Declassified a little bit too. Like if throwback to my Nickelodeon days when I was a kid, if you guys ever watched that, it's almost like that. Like there was a scene where she's talking to her principal, and like they take a half of his face and half of hers, and they mesh it together as he's telling her something important, and then their faces split apart as it transitions to the next scene. It's fucking amazing. It's so amazing. What else about the show? Everything about the show, like how her powers work. I know I was talking to my guy SM Young, Star Wars Sunday alumni. That's my guy. He was telling me like he was kind of upset that they didn't make her an Inhuman. And like for me, I used to be an Inhumans fan. I now think they're kind of trash personally. Like as I've read, because I really like them only for Black Bolt. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Like when I was younger in high school, I always thought his like suit design was cool and everything like that. And when they announced they were going to do an Inhumans movie way back when, and then that movie turned into the show, and then we got that shitty ass show that we never talk about. I didn't even watch that show because like I heard it was bad, but but yeah, and like and all that. Like I'm glad they didn't make her Inhuman and throw that baggage on this show. And I have to explain all that because obviously we know she got her powers from like the Terrigen Mist and everything. Even in the Avengers game, that's how she got her powers. And that was another thing too. They incorporated a lot of the elements from the game as well. And like it's just so crazy. And seeing her like fan out over Carol Danvers and everything, like, and I like Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, and I'm like, I want to see these two together. Like, I want to see like what their dynamics are going to be like. Then throw in Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. She's one of the Marvels, and I think this girl's going to go on to be in the Marvels film. That's why it's called the Marvels. So I can't wait to see their dynamic. Like she idolizes this chick. Like, oh my god, she like God, like screw Captain America, screw Iron Man, screw Hulk. Like Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel is her gal. She loves that chick, and like the retelling of what happened in Endgame. That was one of the things. So I heard they touched on that, and everybody was like, "Wait, how does she know what happened in Endgame? There was nobody there, and everything like that." Well, we now have an in-universe podcast with Scott Lang. Scott Lang has a podcast in the MCU. So I like that's going to be something I feel like is going to play into Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Mania, because it's like this guy's running around doing a podcast. Like, how is Hank Pym going to feel about that? Are Hank Pym and all them considered like fugitives from the state still, from the government still? Because that was like they were still kind of fugitives at the end. Did they get like pardoned because of their role in Endgame? Who knows? But obviously, I think they will because he's running around doing a podcast now. So I'm like, all right, did you start that podcast when you were on house arrest, bro? Because why wasn't this in Ant-Man and the Wasp? But it's very fascinating, man. It's very fascinating. I think they should do like kind of like how they would do those MCU shorts and everything. What were they called? I forgot what those MCU shirts are called, but like when Coulson, like um like when Coulson was on his way to Thor's hammer, like that little like gas station thing, and like I hope I want them to do something like that, or like those when Thor had the roommate. Remember those when Thor had the roommate and everything? That was before Ragnarok when they were like trying to prepare you for a funny Thor, so they were putting out like these little shorts with Chris Hemsworth, and he had a roommate and all that. Like, do that. Have us like Scott Lang brings on Hawkeye. Like Hawkeye is just sitting there like mean mugging them the whole time. Like, yeah, sure. Okay. Bring on Falcon. Because him and Falcon has Captain America now. Him and Sam Wilson Cap. They got the little beef. Have them like start arguing on the podcast about who could be that would be amazing. But they reference that in this show as well. And like everything about this, man, like the like I said, the pacing, the character dynamics, and then like the relationship between her and Bruno, you could tell like she kind of likes him. He's totally into her. But then you throw in this like curveball with the new guy. I think his name, what was his name? Something Khan. What is his name? Let me look up his name so I'm not mispronouncing his name. That dude, as soon as he hopped out the pool, I was like, yeah, bro, you just lost your girl, dog. You just lost your girl, dog. Hang on one second. I'm trying to look up this guy's name. Kamran. That was his name. Kamran. Yeah, Kamran. But yeah, as soon as he got out of the pool, all shirtless and everything, I was like, and the way she was looking, I was like, yeah, you just lost your girl, bro. But getting back to her powers though, the way her powers work is very fascinating. Very fascinating. It's like Green Lantern, so she can make like constructs and everything like that. Like you see her like running over the stuff and everything. But it's still based. It's like an energy based power, which is crazy because Captain Marvel's energy based. So basically, it seems like she can, pull energy from different things and convert it into convert the energy. It's crazy how it's going to work. So I kind of have an idea of how she can be super powerful in the Marvels film. Captain Marvel is pure energy. So if she's taking some of the energy from Captain Marvel and transitioning it, same thing with Monica Rambeau, the energy she gives off. And Monica Rambeau in the comics is she's uber powerful. She's like ridiculously powered level. Like Adam Brashear, who's the Blue Marvel, I think that's his name, Blue Marvel in the comics. He was like, yeah, you have the potential to be one of the most powerful beings in like the multiverse, literally, that ass. So she has if they handle that character right, she has a bright future ahead of her. And like they even pay off like the comic books where she like embiggens her hands and everything like that. Like it's all energy based. She can manipulate the energy in her body so she could grow her hands via the energy, that she gets from the Bengal. Now, the one thing I want to know is like, is it her specific DNA? So like if anybody puts this Bengal on, will they be able to use the power basically? Because when she puts the Bengal on, that's when she gets the power. Is it specifically tied to her DNA? Because that's what Bruno was saying, like it was coming from inside of her. So I'm assuming it's specifically her DNA because I'm sure somebody like one of her family members, her Nani, which is her grandmother, I'm sure that her grandma, her Nani put that bracelet on and nothing happened. Otherwise, like her Nani will be a fucking superhero. You feel me? So, but yeah, man, everything about this show is freaking amazing. Like I said, I think Bruno is going to be in some way, shape, or form tied to the Tinkerer. I hope so. Man, even the brother, man, the brother is amazing in this show. And how they get into the history of the partition of the British partition of India, where like basically, from what I'm understanding from the show, because that's something I've actually been reading up about to from my other channel where I talk politics, but I was reading up about it to learn about it. And that's how basically like Pakistan became Pakistan, like so but the history of that and how they're tying that into her family and everything like that, it's gonna be very interesting to see how that plays out. So I'm assuming that her grandmother basically, or her great grandmother saved her grandmother, because her grandmother said like she barely made it to the train and she walked on like a bridge of stars to get to the train. So maybe like it was a situation where, one of her mother's enemy, her great grandmother's enemies were going after her, and she like basically like made the bridge for the grandmother, or the grandmother, to go onto the train or whatever, and she died. Like something happened. So we're gonna have to wait and see how that all plays out. I think they might go into that in the next episode, because we left off on a cliffhanger with her saving a kid's life. So it was for Eid Mabak. I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. It's a Islamic holiday. It actually just passed not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, everyone played their roles well, man. Everybody did. But but I think the woman she kept seeing. So when she put the bingle on at first at the Avengers Con, she kept having visions and everything like that, and it was like a woman reaching out to her and everything. And then at the end of the second episode, and she kept having these visions. Like she had them at the dinner table at one point, and I think she had them on one other occasion. But at the end of episode 2, which is the last episode that came out, she hopped in Kamran's car and she met his mother, and her mother was like, "Oh, Kamala, I've been waiting to meet you." And it looks like the woman from the visions. So yeah, I can't wait for the next episode either. And it looks like the woman from the visions. So I'm like, oh, is that the woman that killed her great grandmother? Because it would be fascinating to see if they don't age. That would be fascinating to see. So if Kamala Khan will age very slowly or something like that, it will be very interesting to see. Or if that's her, like, I don't know. Like, I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see. I can't wait for the next episode. It's very fascinating. What else? Oh yeah, like I said, I love the dynamic between her and her mother. That conflict they have of her wanting to be, more into the Western world than her the culture she's from. Finding that balance between the two, and that the conflict that comes with that. Between her and her mother. Like I said, her dad's amazing. Her dad's my favorite character in this. Dude, when he busted through the door and that Incredible Hulk thing, I was like, yo, this is awesome, dude. He's like every one of the 90s dads that we love. He's like he gives me that Uncle Phil feel. He gives like all those, like, oh my God, man. I can't wait. I can't wait for the next episode. Um, and yeah, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. What did I we talked to Inhumans, how our powers work. Yeah, I think we covered everything. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the Miss Marvel review. And I'm going to go ahead and move into the boys. So we're going to talk the boys now. This is hands down my favorite show out of all the bunch, out of all of them. This is my favorite show. This is the most well-written show. The Boys season 3 is some of the best television I've personally ever seen, personally. And that's like, not much, because I don't watch too much television. Like I basically watch the shit that I like comic book shit and whatever other shows I like. So I don't watch too much television. This is one of the best written shows I've seen. Like how all the characters, every character in this show is amazing, is great. There's no bad writing for a character in this show and in this season specifically. Um, yeah, you got to check out The Boys. The Boys is phenomenal. If you don't like gore and a lot of cussing and things like that, you may not like it, but this one is straight. Now, this is rated R. This is like completely the opposite of Miss Marvel. This is hard R. This is like in many ways, not in many ways. This is a harder R than Deadpool. This TV show. But The Boys has always been a fascinating show to me because of the commentary it has on the current society we live in terms of like corporations and things like that. How we we basically live in like like the world we live in is basically a big advertisement. Like every time you go on YouTube, there's an ad. Every time you go on your phone, it's an ad. You can't go anywhere without seeing an ad. Somebody trying to sell you some shit. And it's like this show is basically like, what if superheroes were that? And they put us like dead center in the real world. And I think if superheroes did exist, it would look something like this. I don't know if as dark and cynical. Maybe that's me wanting to be optimistic, and I'm just like, yeah, I don't think it would be that bad. But like, imagine it, like Homelander is a great example of that. If Superman really existed, would he be the guy that we think he is? Or is that just how we perceive, a Superman to be? And it also touches into nature versus nurture when it comes to that character as well. So very fascinating things. But we're talking about specifically season 3. The social commentary on this is dialed up to 1,000, and I fucking love it. I know a lot of people aren't really liking the show because they feel like it's, pushing like woke stuff. But in all honesty, I think it's making fun of it in many ways on how both sides of whatever argument, whether it's, they go into the BLM stuff and they go into both, the ridiculousness of both sides of that. They go into the ridiculousness of like just everything topical in society. They literally, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen that what is her name? Kendall Jenner. Was she the one that was in the Pepsi commercial? They literally do a spoof of the fucking Pepsi commercial, but they do it with the character A Train, who's like basically the Flash and the boys. They do this ad with him, and it's so like you have to understand the character to understand how ridiculous and hilarious this is, because his character is like piece of shit. Like A Train is a piece of shit. I'm sorry, I've given up on A Train. They're kind of starting to give you that redemption arc with him again. Like that's been his through line in season 3, and he keeps going back and forth on this redemption arc, and I'm just over him. I'm like, when is Homelander going to laser this guy, or when is Huey going to kill this guy? He needs to go because he's a piece of shit. But they literally do that in this show. Like they have, like it's so, like I said, it's so much social commentary on here, and we're on episode 5 now. But the social commentary takes a back seat to the storytelling. Yeah, it's a very interesting show, man. Very interesting show. But all the social commentary, as good as it is, it takes a back seat to the actual character development. Now, the only like talking about ham-fisted, how we talk about, how I was talking about in the Ms. Marvel review, how I felt that like her culture wasn't ham-fisted on you, like it wasn't forced, it wasn't done bad, it was done very well here. The only thing I feel like isn't done as well on this show, and that's kind of ham-fisted, is the Donald Trump overtones that they're making with Homelander. And I feel like they've done it in all 3 seasons. Like I've been picking up on it. I don't know if it's because I follow politics like that and I'm seeing it, but I feel like the average person would pick this up. And it's like, it's okay, I get it. Like in many ways they do it differently, but in many other ways it's like right there in your face. Like there's a scene in the show where MM is talking to his wife's husband. So he's not with his wife no more in this season. And his wife's husband is like playing this Homelander, he's no, it's like a news clipping, and they're playing like this big speech he had in the end of episode 3, if I'm not mistaken, where he basically just like went off the rails. And like it's almost like, you get what they're trying to say in the show. But right off rip with season 1, the scene, or episode 1, I'm sorry about that, episode 1, the scene everybody's talking about with, I think his name was Termite or something like that. They literally have a scene in this show where a character who's like Ant-Man, he's basically this universe's Ant-Man, he could shrink. Like he shrinks, and for one, he's about to have sexual intercourse with his partner. They're doing cocaine, all types of drugs and everything. And you hear his partner say, "I want to feel you inside me." So I'm thinking, okay, this is about to be a sex scene between, 2 men. It was about to be a gay sex scene. I was like, okay. You see the guy shrink, and I'm like, is he about to go up his ass? No. His partner pulls his pants down, puts his dick on the table, and Termite literally goes into his hole. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting, but it's so hilarious at the same time. And of course, I knew this was going to go wrong. Like he sneezes and accidentally grows inside of him and kills the guy. And that's when Butcher and them come in, and this guy almost kills Frenchie. There's this hilarious scene where Frenchie basically walks in on this happening, and Frenchie's like, I'm just it's on Amazon Prime, which is that's the oxymoronic nature. I don't know how to think about this, but like Amazon is literally the biggest, for all intents and purposes. Like Vought is making fun of Amazon in many ways. Like Vought is basically the boys is stand-in for Amazon, right? That's how they're kind of framing it in the show. And the show is on Amazon Prime. So I'm like, did Amazon read these scripts, or is it like, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. Take it take it as you want. But the show is amazing. But there's Frenchie walks in on this happening. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go. And the guy's like, no, you can't leave because you can snitch on me, basically. And he shrinks, throws Frenchie to the ground, and he goes up his pants like, and Kimiko runs in, and Frenchie's like, he's trying to crawl up my ass. My gosh. But the way he delivered it was so freaking hilarious, dog. So hilarious. But then Butcher comes in and throws this guy and like because he's small, he's tiny. He throws him into a bag of cocaine and shakes it up, and the guy's like high, is basically ODing, and it's amazing. You think Butcher's about to kill him, and he doesn't, because you find out that, as we left off in season 2, Victoria Newman has this superhuman, like, I think Bureau of Superhuman Relations or something like that. It's basically their like another version. It's like basically, imagine like the FBI but for like superheroes and shit. That's basically what it is. So Butcher's basically, he has a leash on him, and then because of what happened in the the events of season 2 that played out, Homelander's also on a leash, because he was fucking with a Nazi. Basically, he was messing with a Nazi. Like, Stormfront was a Nazi. So um he's kind of, his popularity has been taking a hit because of that. So he's kind of on a leash. Like, the people are just fucking with him left and right. You got Starlight that's constantly like blackmailing him with the Flight 37 video that Maeve had of him basically letting the people in this airplane die from season 1. um yeah, man, it's very, very fascinating stuff. But let's get to the crown jewel of this show. And I think his name is Anthony Starr as Homelander. Oh my god, Homelander is one of the best villains you will ever see. And like, I know a lot of people like Injustice in the way they like did like the whole evil Superman trope. And you've been seeing that. Like, we saw like another show on Amazon Prime, which is fucking amazing, is Invincible. Um, you have Omni-Man in that show. Like, you're starting to see like the evil Superman archetypes be portrayed. We even had like a glimpse of actual evil Superman in the Snyder cut. Um, so you're starting to see that play out. I think that's I honestly think that's a mirror of how cynical, the mind state of society is becoming. That, we have this perverse vision of, a wholesome, a wholesome pure character like Superman, because that's what Superman is and always was. And now we're starting to view him in his negative light and everything. I think it's very interesting. I like when they explore that, because I feel like that's how cynical society has become, and especially Western society. So you have the character, like, you have this character in Homelander who's basically that evil Superman archetype, and I think he's one of the best ones on television. I think this is better than Omni-Man, in all honesty, because the way this guy it's like a mob boss. It's like if they just told the show completely from his perspective, which will honestly be dope, because without exploring the other characters and the boys, um you know, um, like, if they just cut out all the other scenes and it was just like a show about Homelander and the things playing out for him from his perspective, it would almost play like The Godfather Part 2 with Michael Corleone and all that. Like, oh my god, it's like that. It's like The Sopranos. It's like Homelander is like Tony Soprano. It's fucking amazing. It's really amazing. He's one of the best. He's that great as a TV villain. It's really amazing. It's really dope. He's like Vincent D'Onofrio villain levels. It's amazing the way, like, that's actually a great comparison. He's like Kingpin from Daredevil. And it's like how, like, all the characters, but obviously the other characters make the show as well. It's very fascinating to see. But how the characters react, like, everything the characters do is based upon the power of Homelander and a threat. Like, basically, this guy could destroy the earth and nobody could fucking stop him. And that's what this season is all about, finding this deterrent to stop him. But seeing how people react to that and how they move accordingly to that is what makes the show great. The decisions they make, it's like every decision compounds and affects another character, like two characters that haven't even interacted before, but a decision one character makes and that character hasn't like, for example, like, A Train is forced into a decision, and when he makes that decision, it impacts Frenchie, where Frenchie hasn't even interacted with this guy before. It's very fascinating. It's very fascinating stuff. It's like that intricate type of writing that really draws you in. And like I said, man, just how Homelander moves, dude. But for me, the highlight of this show is like the battle between, and as of right now, because as we left off on, so I'm on episode 5 right now, but in episode 4, it left off with basically Stan Edgar being let go from the company and everything. Um, by the way, this is spoilers. I'm sorry, I should have announced it at the top when I was talking about the boys too. I'll make sure I do that for the next 2 things. I'm talking about Kenobi and Stranger Things, but this is spoilers. When Stan Edgar gets fired from Vought, um, just the relation, the conversation. Actually, I'm about to let me pull that clip up. This clip was amazing. Actually, no, I don't, because I don't want to get taken down. Let me not. But it's like it's a lot of dialogue. It's not a lot of action in this show. Like there's a couple scenes where there's action. Most of it is dialogue, and it's freaking amazing. And when you have Giancarlo Esposito and an actor of the caliber like Anthony Starr, like I've never heard of the guy until this show. So I think he was in a show called Banshee previously. I might go back and watch that now because this guy is great. He's a fucking phenomenal. Like his facial expressions, how he expresses how Homelander is slowly losing his shit. And finally, I think it was like the end of episode 3, he finally cracks. So usually Homelander fucks with people and things like that. And like Vought will usually let him get away with it. But because he's not as popular as Starlight now, Starlight has like a 93% approval rating. Like by episode 3, Homelander was only at like a 56. So okay, word. Yeah, but in episode 3, Homelander is still pretty unpopular because of the whole Stormfront thing. Her being, basically him dating a Nazi. Like they constantly make fun of him in the TV shows, and Homelander finally loses his shit. But before I get to that, there's this amazing scene that kind of foreshadows the end of the show. And if you've ever read the Boys comic book, you understand the end of the comic book. I'm not going to say the end of the comic book because it may spoil the show. Like they've changed a lot of things about the show that I don't think it's going to play out like the comic book at all, but you never know. So I'm not going to tell you the ending of the comic book because it might spoil it for you. It might spoil some things. But hang on one second, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah. Actually, okay, we're good. Um, where was I at? Damn, I lost my train of thought. Hang on, let me get my train of thought back. Damn it, where was I at? I just lost out what just literally went blank on what I was saying. Oh yeah, there's this amazing scene between Homelander and Butcher. So Butcher, like I said earlier, Butcher is kind of on this leash with the federal superhero, like the people who keep the superheroes in check, the bureau, the federal like superhuman relations bureau or something, whatever it's called. And Homelander's on a leash by Vought, and he has this dialogue with Butcher where he's like, "Don't you want to go back to wartime? Like this is peacetime, basically. Like Vought, the government, and the boys, Butcher's team, kind of came to an agreement with the soups, another stalemate, basically a Cold War kind of. So it's kind of like peacetime, basically. And Homelander and Butcher are not peacetime. They're warriors. They're, that's where they are. And Homelander's like, how about we take these leashes off, basically. Like oh my God, the monologue he gave was amazing. Butcher's like, yeah. And it kind of like foreshadows what's going to happen at the end of the show. But again, a great actor like Carl Urban to me is upstaged by Anthony Starr, who I've never heard of before. I'm a huge Carl Urban fan from when he played Dread. I even liked him when he played Bones from Star Trek. Carl Urban's a fantastic actor, man, and he gets upstaged by a guy like Anthony Starr in that scene, and it's just fucking amazing. But it leads into like Homelander just losing his shit. So he usually tortures all the heroes in there. Like he fucks with them in little subtle ways. Sometimes like in not so subtle ways. Like he'll just like straight up put hands on these niggas kind of. But they're like he's kind of been lashing out because they basically don't let him fuck with people no more like that because he's not as popular. So Stan Edgar were like, yeah, leave Starlight alone, leave Maeve alone. Like when he's trying to do like a cruel, twisted like practical joke on him. Like for example, he was trying to get Starlight to dress up for his because he was having like this big birthday event. He was trying to get her to dress up like Marilyn Monroe and sing to him like it was JFK's birthday and everything, just to embarrass her and like torture her basically because she hates that. She hates being seen, as a feminine object, a fembot basically. That's why they went through all that in season 2. And Stan Edgar was like, yeah, if Starlight doesn't want to sing, she doesn't have to sing. And basically like was like, Homelander, go sit down somewhere, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Basically, there was this one scene where they make Starlight co-captain of the 7 And Homelander's like, wait, we're going to talk about this. He said, yeah, sure. Stan Edgar was like, yeah, sure, we can. Make an appointment with my assistant. Bro, and like literally just walks out. And Starlight's like, I don't think you should be fucking with him like that. That's Homelander. He was like, he's a has-been. His popularity is enough. He's an embarrassment to this company. She's like, he can hear you, right? Stan Edgar was like, good, I hope he does. Bro, please like watch this show. Me telling you about these scenes do not live up to what the scenes actually are. These like, oh my god, man, the writing is top notch. I'm thinking about going to watch Supernatural now because the showrunner is the guy who did Supernatural. So I'm thinking about going to watch that show. But yeah, but Homelander just goes off in season 3 because Starlight continuously blackmails him with this Flight 37 video and everything like that. And like I said, I'm not going to go into all the previous seasons to explain why that's a thing. Like I said, go watch season 1 and 2 and then watch 3. I think there are like 8 episodes each season. So 16 episodes for season 1 and 2, and then 5 more episodes to catch up to this current season. But he just goes off. And this is like on national television, and it's like I said, like they really play up the Donald Trumpisms with this. Like they're trying to basically frame Homelander as like this like Donald Trump-esque figure for the show. And like I get why they're doing it, like I get it, but it's like tone it down a little bit, just a little bit. We get it, we get what you're trying to say, but tone it down just a little bit. But because to me that's the only thing that's ham-fisted. Yes, like make allusions to that him being like a Trumpian figure, but they're like, I think in every season with him they've been playing it up, and as they've been focusing on these other elements of Homelander, he shines through that. But when they like crank up the Trumpisms and things like that, it kind of like takes away from the character a little bit. So yeah, it is a short show. It's a short show. It's almost over now. It's on like season or episode 5 right now. I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes. So, but he just goes off, and he's like, yo, yeah, no, you look, guys, I'm fucking tired of apologizing for shit. I'm not human. I'm better than you. I am the hero. You're not the hero. And like that basically made like a lot of the white males, like they make a thing about it in the show to talk about, oh, the white males love him now, his popularity's up and everything. And that's when he starts getting his clout and everything. It's a whole bunch, but basically, long story short, this show is amazing. Out of all the shows I have listed that I'm going to be talking about, this is my favorite of the bunch, my favorite on television right now. And definitely give it a watch. Check it out. The writing's top notch. The acting is phenomenal. Anthony Starr should win an Emmy for this performance that he's giving because he's fucking amazing. And yeah, definitely go check out The Boys. I'm gonna take a little mini break real quick before I move into the next show. Man, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the stream. I'm thinking about doing more of these. I'll try to. I'm gonna try and do it on weekends, on Saturdays mostly. And then I'll post the clips throughout the week and everything. Because I do like 3 other YouTube channels, guys. I do like 3 other YouTube channels on top of work. And I also go to school, and I do music as well. So it's a lot. Editing takes, it's a lot. That editing to me, once I started YouTube, I realized how much work YouTubers actually do in terms of editing. I'm not trying to compare like a YouTuber to like a fucking bricklayer or anything. Like, obviously, I'm not going to do that. But it's a lot of work that goes into it, guys. Damn it. Hang on. I'll be right back. I got to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I'm back. And I apologize for the long pause. I had to get my water bottle. I'll be right back. All right, guys Alrighty, I am back, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah. So what is next on the docket? What I talked Miss Marvel, talk the boys. Uh let's talk Stranger Things. I'll talk Kenobi last. Let's talk Stranger Things. So spoiler alert for Stranger Things season 4, or Stranger Things 4 as I like to call it, because it's basically a movie. To how many episodes is it? 9 episodes. It's a 9 hour. How many episodes of Stranger Things? Is this 7? So this one I watched like a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna be a little foggy on the particular details. So bear with me on that. 7 episodes. Yeah, it's basically a 7 hour movie. But so again, spoiler alerts. Spoiler alert for Stranger Things. I'm gonna be talking Stranger Things now. Wow. Another great episode, man. Another great season. I liked everything about this season. Again, the characters. This is another show where most of the characters are done well. My favorite character is the new guy. What is his name? Actually, no, my favorite character is still Steve. Honestly, actually, now that I think about it, Steve is that nigga. Swear to God, if they kill Steve this season, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm really gonna be mad, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm trying to see the guy that plays Steve, or the guy, the new guy. Hang on. I'm trying to find the character listings. Hmm. God damn it. What is his name? Like I said, I watched this one a couple weeks ago, but I liked it a lot. Eddie Munson, that's the character's name, Eddie. The guy who plays him, I'm going to be talking about him later again, because I have a role that he should play. I think you guys should know what it is. Hang on. What is the actor's name? Oh, Stranger Things has a fan wiki. I did not know that. Joseph Quinn. That's the real actor's name. The real actor's name is Joseph Quinn. But Eddie is like, to me, one of my favorite characters this season. Steve is still my favorite character. Like a little bit of the story arc for him is kind of like, okay, like he's trying to find a girl basically, and it's kind of alluding that him and Nancy are going to get back together. So it's very weird. But Stranger Things season 4. Vecna is terrifying. Vecna was terrifying until he interacts with Max, because then I'm like, oh, so like literally if I throw on my music, I can fuck you up. All right, cool. I'll just throw on my music then, bro. Fuck you. That's where I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But Eddie to me is like my one of my second favorite character behind Steve right now. And it's like the way they portray him as like this weird eccentric guy, you think he's gonna be kind of a dick, but then like Steve is like how I felt about Steve. Like Steve was a dick. Like when he beats up Jonathan and everything, you're like, oh, this guy's an asshole. But then he kind of, he goes through the whole redemption arc, and now he's like everybody's favorite character now, I feel like. And obviously him with the baseball bat and everything is like icon. I think that's iconic. Steve with the baseball bat is iconic in my opinion. But how they weave all the stories together, everything going on with 11. Like 11 story arc was to me the most kind of like the one where like when they were doing her things, I found myself wanting to skip a little bit, and I was checking my phone and everything because it's not that I didn't like it. It was just that some of the like I don't know. I don't know what I feel like it wasn't executed well. The actress, like, what is her name? Millie Bobby Brown. She, she turned in a good performance. I don't know. They just didn't make the storyline interesting. I would say my least favorite storyline was definitely Will and Jonathan and Will. That was probably my least favorite arc of the whole season. Minus the gunfight, like the shootout at their house was freaking amazing. And the Spanish guy, the new Spanish guy they have on there too. So Eddie and uh what is his name? What is the character's name? Argyle. Eddie and Argyle are like two of the highlights of the season. Argyle's freaking hilarious, and seeing him react to like the shootout at the crib and everything, and then they take him out to smoke weed and shit as they're burying the bodies. Like, should be burying her? Oh my god! Her. But yeah, this season was really like well executed. It's like on par with season one, because season 2 and 3, I was like, okay, like going into season 4, I completely forgot what happened in the previous seasons. So like I just watched like the catch up and everything, like that little thing they play at the beginning of a lot of these shows to catch you up. Like Hopper, I remember I remember Hopper. They thought he died, but he ended up in Russia. He got transported to Russia and everything. Joyce and the older guy, the guy with the beard, is fucking hilarious. Their chemistry, Winona Ryder and that actor. What is his name? See, man, I don't be knowing the actors' names like that. What is that guy's name? Murray Bowman. Bauman. Oh my god, they are hilarious together. Oh my god, like seeing him doing his little kung fu thing, like his like I thought it was gonna be like a little joke where yeah, I take karate, and then he was gonna get his ass kicked. No, he was kicking ass, man. He was whooping ass. So that storyline was dope. But like I said, my favorite storyline is the storyline with Eddie and the cops and everything like that. Like it really, this has turned, they turned the dial up to 100 on this one when it came to season one. Like it was, I think this rivals, and in some ways it's better than season one. I think it's better than season one personally. Like I like season one, but they tried to be too much like Spielberg in season one, and I'm not a big Spielberg fan. I think Spielberg is criminally overrated. I think a lot of his movies are trash personally, but yeah, but I feel like they incorporated other 80s elements and films into this that made it really pop this season, and I'm loving it. And Max is like, although Eddie and Argyle and Murray are my favorite characters in the show, and Steve, like the storyline I like the most, like in terms of character development, was Max. Man, you really see Max struggling, and she's trying to talk to the one guy, the black kid, and everything, because you thought they were going to be together at the end of season 3, but then because of Billy's death, her brother's death, and everything in that season, she kind of cut herself off from everybody, and that's actually how Vecna goes after people through their trauma, and he wants to free them from their trauma because, as you learn, Vecna is from our plane of existence. He's from the right side up, not the upside down. He was actually the first person to go to the upside down, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But he was number one. And him and L got into, basically Vecna, he attacks you through your trauma. And like seeing like that's one of the best scenes I've ever seen, dog. Like the scene where she escapes him, just the music's blaring. I saw that was like a trending song on Spotify and all that when the season was out. I forget what the song's called, but the song is blaring. You're seeing her like trying to run back to her friends and the love of her life. If she's running, he's throwing shit at her. That's why I'm kind of like, all right, man, you like fucking everybody else up easily. Now you want to go soft on her. Okay, whatever. All right. But what really got me was that their detective skills, like the scene where Nancy and Shorty went to the insane asylum, and it was kind of like Silence of the Lambs. And then the guy who played Vecna's father, who played One's father, he was the actor who played Freddy Krueger. That was a very good Easter egg, and reference. But this season was a lot like Freddy Krueger. Like Vecna's like a lot like Freddy Krueger, although he doesn't just strike kids in their dreams. but he strikes them through their trauma. He goes after them through trauma. Since it's amazing, dude. The way they handled this season was amazing. Um, and it's only part one. Part two is still coming out. They kind of left you on a cliffhanger. So man, I can't wait for part two to come out. And I know they announced the season 5. And like after season 3, I was kind of like, all right, I'm kind of over Stranger Things. This reinvigorated me. I'm excited for this part 2 to come out and for them to conclude. They said season 5 was going to be the wrap-up season, the final season. So excited to see what they do with part 2. Excited to see what they do with season 3. Like I said, they better not kill Steve or I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be, you hear me? I want Steve to grow up, get him a nice girl, not Nancy, get him a nice girl and live life and eventually become fucking Steve for president, bro. Okay. Steve for president. Do an alternative timeline where Steve becomes president when he grows up. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on Stranger Things. Season 4, thought it was phenomenal. And I can't wait for part 2. So we're going to go ahead and move into Kenobi now. And this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one. So we're going to talk Kenobi. I like this show. Do I like it a lot? No. Do I think it's making a lot of mistakes? Yes. Do I think it's as bad as a lot of Star Wars fans are saying? No. It's not that bad at all, actually. There's scenes where I'm like, yes. Like the first duel between him and Vader. Yes. Episode 1 where you see him just broken, like Kenobi's broke. Oh, yeah, by the way, again, spoilers. When I cut this up and chop it into clips, I'm gonna put like a spoiler sign and tag on at the beginning. So, but when you see Kenobi just broken, man, you see this guy like he's racked with guilt, from his failure of Anakin. Honestly, like he failed. Obi-Wan Kenobi failed on every single level when it comes to Anakin Skywalker. And you see that really weighing on him. Like, all those Ewan McGregor, and he looks nowhere near like, so this takes place 10 years before A New Hope. So Obi-Wan needs to age a lot, by A New Hope, because Alec Guinness was, kind of old when A New Hope came out. So Obi-Wan's going to age a lot. He's going to go through a lot of shit, I think. But seeing him deal with that guilt of failing Anakin, just in utter despair and everything, it's a Kenobi we haven't seen before. It's an Obi-Wan we haven't seen, because like I said, like in episode 4, he's very much the wise, cunning wizard. He's not like in despair. He's hopeful because he like Luke's time is coming now. So. And in Clone Wars, you get the Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, so you don't really get a despair, sorrowful, depressed Obi-Wan. And we get that here. Like even his physicality, he lost his step, in 10 years. It's been 10 years. This takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. But who didn't lose it? Well, he he lost the step because he didn't have the high ground, of course. But Vader, man, this is the most ruthless Darth Vader we have ever fucking seen. This is the closest to the Darth Vader I feel I've never seen a Darth Vader that's just ruthless. You feel me? Like we've had the cunning older Darth Vader in the original trilogy. We've had shades of like the badass Vader just and Rogue One, where he just wrecked shop in the hallway. I feel like every character is going to has to get a hallway. Ever since Daredevil, characters get like fight scenes in hallways now. But when he was on the hallway in that rebel ship in Rogue One, just wrecking shop, decapitating dudes, throwing them to the wall, cutting their heads off, slicing them through. That was cool. This is the ruthless Vader. Like, oh my god, this was the closest thing to what's the one game with Star Killer? What are those games called? Let me look it up real quick. I always forget what the games are called. Force Unleashed. This is the closest thing to Force Unleashed Vader I think we've seen in Star Wars, before. And it's amazing to see. Like, and I was watching Comics Explain or Geek Culture Explain, Rob Jefferson. I love Rob. I love Comics Explain. I've been watching Comics Explain since my sophomore year of high school. And then now he has the Geek Culture Explained story where he talks more about the movies and everything and TV shows. So, but I know he was saying he feels Anakin, Darth Vader is nowhere near as powerful as Anakin Skywalker. I don't know about that, because while yes, does Darth Vader he has limitations. Like, for example, he can't produce Force lightning because it would damage his suit, so he can't use Force lightning, things like that. And obviously he's not as agile as he was when he had all of his limbs and when he was Anakin Skywalker, obviously. But that does forced him to become more cunning with the Force and not rely on his lightsaber, as he did when he was Anakin Skywalker. And I feel like that made him a threat to be reckoned with, and in many ways, more powerful than Anakin Skywalker. Like, he's not like, I don't, and even like physically, though, like he will overpower Jedi that he hunted, like just raw strength. So I don't know. I kind of disagree with him on that, but Vader is terrifying in this show. Like, when you first see him, in the full armor, not when you see him like in the back to tank in episode one, or was it episode, I think episode two, either episode one or two. I forget which one. Two. It was episode two, the end of episode two. Like, not when he's in the back to tank at the end of that episode when Obi-Wan finds out Anakin's still alive. Like, when you actually see him in the suit, like about to confront Obi-Wan, like he's walking through the town, ripping people out of their homes, like killing kids, snapping necks, left and just to draw out Obi-Wan. That was the ruthless, like pure evil Vader I've always heard of, that I felt we never really got. You feel me? We never really got that. Like, every people he would kill on screen were usually like Imperial commanders who are just fucking dicks, and then on top of being a dick, you're a fucking moron on top of that. Like, oh, you pulled us out of hyperspace too quick. You're dead. Force choke you to death, bitch. Like, you don't really care about that. But when you see him just ripping a random guy out of his house, and then his son is coming to defend his father, and you throw the kid against the wall and just snap his fucking neck. Like, that's like, whoa. You feel me? Like, it really makes you think about the redemption arc that Vader had at the end of Return of the Jedi. You're like, oh shit, this guy was kind of, he was like just beyond, he was a super dick. Oh my God. So, um, but just seeing that conflict, between the two finally, it's fucking amazing. And he's like Michael Myers in this show. Like, there's this, the scene in episode 3 where he finally confronts Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan is just running from him to keep him away from Leia. We'll get to Leia. We'll get to that. And you just see the lights from his suit appear out of the darkness, like the silhouette and everything. It's fucking amazing. It's amazing. Now, we have to get into some of my dislikes of this show. And a lot of my dislikes comes with the canon characters and legacy characters. We'll start with Princess Leia. There was no need for Princess Leia to be in a show. I wholeheartedly believe that. There's so many, so they're basically using her as the MacGuffin to get Obi-Wan off world, to get him off of Tatooine, basically. That didn't need to happen. You didn't need Princess Leia to do that. There's so many other things, you know, you could have used to get him off world. And I know you can't do Maul necessarily. See, I don't know though. Yeah, no, you can't do Maul. And this is the problem you have when it comes to Star Wars canon. So in Star Wars Rebels, um, Maul has a vision because of some things that happen in the show, but he basically has a vision that Obi-Wan Kenobi is still alive. And he basically goes and confronts Maul, or Maul goes to confront Obi-Wan on Tatooine, and Obi-Wan strikes him down on Tatooine, and he ends up dying on Tatooine and buried in Tatooine. Now, the scene where Maul has the vision, he's like, he's still alive. How is he still alive? Now, Maul he could be, and you wouldn't be wrong in assuming that he's referencing Order 66, that, oh, Obi-Wan died in Order 66 with the rest of the Jedi. Cool. Or he could be referencing something that happened 10 years earlier. He interacted with Kenobi, found out he was alive, and something happened. They had a duel where he thought Obi-Wan died, and Obi-Wan didn't die. Boom. A lot of purists, canon people will be pissed off about that. But hey, who knows? And I don't read everything canon. So let me know if I'm tripping on anything about Maul, but yeah, so, but seeing him and Vader, because I would have preferred Maul over Vader personally, but I was like, oh man, I wish we could get Maul. But seeing Vader in this show, man, how ruthless he is amazing. But with Leia, she did not have to be in the show. Her being in the show has created a lot of inconsistencies in terms of canon, and in many ways has fucked up canon. So now, you know that scene where Leia's like, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi." So are we to assume that she just thought of Obi-Wan as Ben Kenobi? And that's why like the name Obi-Wan Kenobi, you feel me? Because she didn't like, she was like, I'm looking for a Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope. So it's like, okay, so she knows a Ben Kenobi, like with you feel me? And then it's just very it creates problems. It creates problems that you didn't have to create, basically. Like there's so many other things. Like they could have used the Jedi. So there was a Jedi that came on Tatooine, a Jedi that was on Tatooine. He ended up getting drawn out by the Inquisitors, which we're going to get to in a minute. He gets drawn out by the Inquisitors and reveals himself, and he ends up going on a run on Tatooine. He sees Obi-Wan in town and follows him out of town and asks Obi-Wan for help, and Obi-Wan turns him away. Run, hide. There's no Jedi no more. My name is Ben. I'm not Obi-Wan. Go away, basically. That Jedi ends up getting killed later on, but they could have used him as a way to say, hey, this Jedi master has been captured or needs your help or whatever, or something else. There could have been plenty of other, or just use Bail Organa. So Bail Organa is the guy, he calls Obi-Wan first. Obi-Wan says, I can't help you. And then Bail's like, fuck that. You're going to help me. He goes to see him in person and tell him, yo, you need to do this. Like it could have been Bail Organa got kidnapped, something else. You did not have to use Leia. I don't know why they use Leia to create this problem. That's like, oh my God, why did you guys do that? So Leia. Now let's deal with her brother Luke. So Luke has only like previously to episode 5, to the extent of Luke being in the show, you just saw Obi-Wan watching over him. Now Owen Lars, as you saw from the trailer, he's being played by Joe Edgerton again. He's in the show talking about it and everything. They have their conflicts and everything, but Luke does not interact with Ben. He does not interact with Obi-Wan. They basically set up in episode 5 this scenario where it's possible that Luke is going to come in contact with one of the Inquisitors, Reva. Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this? So now you have to do these dumbass roundabout explainer, like the story group is going to have to go and clean this up with a comic book or something, like Obi-Wan erased his mind or whatever, like some dumb shit, instead of just not creating this problem in the first place. All for the sake of drumming up nostalgia. And honestly, that's where like this show doesn't understand the nostalgia fans like and the nostalgia fans don't like. And that's indicative of just Star Wars as a whole. As soon as Lucasfilm fucks up, that's when they start drawing on nostalgia again. I honestly think that's why Kenobi got greenlit, because they fucked up with the sequel trilogy. And now they're like, oh, look, we're bringing look, Ahsoka's back, and we're bringing back Luke and Mando and all these other legacy characters, Boba Fett. It's like, how about you just get it right the first time so you don't have to continue to fuck up canon? Now let's get to the Inquisitors. I knew the Inquisitor wasn't dead. The fact that people made such a big deal about the Inquisitor getting stabbed lets me know that A, you guys don't watch TV shows outside of Star Wars, and like you're being utterly ridiculous. Dude, Darth Vader got dumped into lava and survived. This guy got stabbed in his stomach, okay? One of his stomachs, because the Inquisitor's race has 2 stomachs, but regardless, whatever. Like, people survive when characters in Star Wars survive when the story needs. Darth Maul got cut the fuck in half. So when the story demands it, or when popularity demands it, they bring characters back regardless of how they died. Like they're going to bring back Mace Windu soon, probably too, because fans have been clamoring for that for years. They're going to bring Sam Jackson back before he gets too old to play the character again one last time, probably for like a mini series like Kenobi, or bring him back in Kenobi. Who knows? If they want to do like a Kenobi season 2 or whatever. But that was annoying to me from the fan base. However, the portrayal, one, the look of the granite, I'm not even going to go into the look. The look was like ridiculous. You couldn't cast a slimmer actor. Like you couldn't cast somebody who looked more like the character did in the actual Rebels TV show. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. He's not even in the show long enough for like to have to worry about casting, a proper actor, like the lineup exactly, whatever. The Grand Inquisitor is like whatever. Um Now you have I think it's the fourth brother that's in it, and he's played by Sung Kang. I think that's his name. The guy from Han from Fast and Furious. He's just there. Now people are making a big deal about the characterization of the Inquisitors. The Inquisitors have always sucked. Oh, minus like the Inquisitor from Fallen Order. That is the only good Inquisitor. Okay, and the Inquisitors that appeared. Actually, no, the other Inquisitors are kind of garbage too. Let's be real. So the fact that everybody's making this big stink, over the Inquisitors, oh, they're not character. They've always fucking sucked. Oh, they sucked so bad. Dave Filoni killed them in the most ridiculous way in like season 2 of Rebels when Maul came back. They ended up basically being cannon fodder for Darth Maul. They suck. They've always sucked for the most part. They've always sucked. So I wasn't too drawn aback from that, but Reva actually was an Inquisitor with a dope storyline. The problem with Reva is obviously, the off-camera stuff of Moses Ingram and everything going down with that. I'm not even going to touch that. But also the fact that you probably could have sidestepped a lot of that if you would have written the character better, and in terms of how you doled out her story throughout the season. They literally waited till the episode before the last episode to give you this character's motivation. So everything you see previously to the second to last episode previously isn't contextualized. And that's not the fault of the audience. That is the fault of the writer. You cannot have a character without purpose. It's just ridiculous. And everybody's like, well, you can assume that the kids at the beginning of the show, the little one, the little black girl was no, you can't. Bro, because then Star Wars would be the main people that would be like, well, why did you expect that to be her? It's like, dude, because her story is amazing. She basically witnessed Anakin Skywalker kill younglings. She was one of the younglings he almost killed. That would have been something to know and have that bridge, that relationship between her and Obi-Wan bridged earlier. And another thing the show suffers from, why is it only 6 episodes? Dude, Disney, you are doing television. You can take as long as you want to tell the story. That's what's so weird. Same thing with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Or like, you guys literally can take as long as you want. Like, I felt like WandaVision had the like almost perfect runtime. I think WandaVision could have had more time as well. But why are you condensing Obi-Wan to 6? Why couldn't you do like 8, 9, maybe even 10? I think Obi-Wan needed like 10 or 12 episodes, honestly, so you can really flesh things out and get into this character, because a lot of this shit was rushed. A lot of these things are just rushed, honestly. Within the show was rushed, and it's sad to see, because there's there's an amazing show in there with Obi-Wan. Dylan, like I said, the emotional things Obi-Wan is going through, the mental, his mentality of like having to live with his complete and utter failure when it came to Anakin and everything that went down in Revenge of the Sith. Like that's like 4 or 5 episodes right there. They haven't even touched the Qui-Gon stuff yet. And fans are gonna be pissed by that, because they're gonna do it in a rushed way, because this is the last episode. Unless we're getting a season 2, or unless the rumor that there's actually more Obi-Wan episodes, like it's like 2 or 3 more episodes. Okay, fine, cool. But if next week is the last episode, fans are going to be pissed, okay? Because again, the way you wrote this character, you wrote these things like the 4th episode was the most boring episode ever, and then they followed up with episode 5 that was dope. Episode 5 was really good. There were some logical things that didn't make sense, like, Reva, why didn't you just walk up in the first place and cut the fucking door open with your lightsaber? Like, took you that long to figure that out, shorty? Other things like Leia was kind of annoying in that episode. Kumail Nanjiani, stop casting him and stuff, okay? Like, I like he played his character good in Eternals. I found his character kind of annoying in Eternals too. Um, but like stop, he doesn't fit in Star Wars. I don't know why they casted him in this aside from him. Oh, he was people thought he was funny in Eternal, so we're gonna put him in here. Ha ha. Like, no. So but like I said, man, there's an amazing show in here. Like I said, I like this show. I don't like it a lot. I don't love it. I don't think it's amazing. I like it. And that's a shame because this show had the potential to be amazing, giving the subject matter and all of this. There's rich material there. And they constrained themselves with canon by using legacy characters. Vader, obviously you have to use Vader. I personally would have preferred Maul. I know a lot of the canon people, people who abide by canon like it's the fucking Bible. Like, you can't. I know they would have been pissed. I want to see it. I would have, preferred Maul. But the Vader they gave us was fucking amazing. But you didn't give us enough of it. Dude, when he thinks Reva failed him and he comes through that fucking hallway and lifts her up, and I'm like, dude, this is the Vader I've been fucking waiting for, dude. And then the fight between him and dude, bruh, nigga, the fight between him and Vader, dude. Oh, or between Reva and Vader. Oh my God, dude. Like, he didn't even pop his own. He said, yo, you're so minuscule to me. I'm not even going to use my fucking lightsaber on you. Matter of fact, here, give me yours. I'm gonna break this shit in half, and you're going to fight me with your. You want to take your shot? Go ahead, take your shot. And he's, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. This is the Vader, the vindictive, like, just maniacal, calculated Vader that I've been waiting to see. And then the Anakin flashbacks was a great highlight with this episode. Like, he's come full circle. You feel me? Like, he's learned some of Obi-Wan's lessons that Obi-Wan was talking about, but not fully. And that is why he's Vader. That's why he's Vader. So, but I'm going to go ahead and, just say that I like this episode, this show, but I don't love it. Looking forward to the final episode. I'll do a review of it. I might do a live stream about it. We'll see. But yeah, so much more they could be doing with they could have done with the show, and to me, it was a missed opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and close the reviews out there, though. That is the last review that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to take a quick break real quick, and then I'm going to come back, and we'll do like 2 more stories, and then I'll hop off because I know we're at like an hour 20 right now. So I got like 2 stories lined up. I'm going to get my thoughts about them, and then call it a night. So I'm going to take a break, and I will be back. All right. I am back. Let's go ahead and get into these two stories. So let me pull these articles up. Get it down. Just get it. All righty. Animated Avatar, the last Airbender spinoff trilogy in development. Dude, let me tell you something. I got into Avatar like the last season when the last season came out. Actually, no, I didn't. I got into Avatar like the year after the final season premiered. So I was like rewatching them. Like one day, I was just watching them on Nickelodeon. This was like when did the last episode come out? Let's see. When did the last episode premiere? 2008. So actually, no, 2 years. No, probably in 2009. It was like when I was in like seventh or eighth grade. So 2000, I started high school in 2010. So like maybe like a year after '09, a year after it came out, like one of the episodes came on Nickelodeon. And yeah, because I was a Danny Phantom guy on Nickelodeon and everything. So Last Airbender wasn't, I don't know. I just never really watched it. Why did it not share my screen? That's weird. Hang on. It's weird. Stop being weird. StreamYard. All right, yeah, there we go. Yeah, so probably like '09, because it was like seventh or eighth grade. But regardless, like I watched one of the episodes. I was like, dude, this is awesome. This show's awesome. And I started watching it and I went back. I forgot how I watched the episodes, but I ended up watching all the episodes basically. Um, Obviously, my favorite character is everybody's favorite character in that show, Zuko. Zuko's the best character in the show, hands down. And then second to that, I think a lot of people will be surprised by this. My second favorite character is Azula. So my ranking, my top 5 characters: Zuko, Azula, Uncle Iroh, so that whole family, Katara, and then Aang. I loved Aang. And then Toph is 6, but Toph is just dope because Toph is Toph, okay? Toph is that chick, bro. Toph, like, Toph is tough, dog. But but yeah, those are my top 5 favorite characters though. And as much, as I liked Legend of Korra, it doesn't compare. I like Legend of Korra a lot, but I don't love Legend of Korra like I love The Last Airbender. Like Legend of Korra is cool because the fight choreography got better, was way better, but it's like a in universe reason for why it got better because it's just like 100 years later. So different fighting styles popped up, like more non-benders started, they started incorporating basically like non-benders fighting styles into their fighting style. So things got cool and then the technology improved and everything, yada yada, all that. Now, for getting into this article though, we've been hearing for years that they're developing things and all that, and originally it was with Netflix. So Netflix had their little they announced that they're doing a Last Airbender film, live action film, and it was going to be with the original creators. That ended up not panning out, and the creators went on to like make a deal, I think, with Nickelodeon, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who they made a deal with, but they're about to flood the streets with a whole bunch of Last Airbender content. So, but let's go ahead and get into this article though. Netflix has been busy with its live action adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yet, after the original creators of the series, Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino, departed the adaptation to found an entire studio focused on the iconic franchise, we've anxiously waited for an official confirmation of their next projects. Turns out they have not one, but 3 films currently in development. Lauren Montgomery, a veteran of the franchise, is directing an untitled film in the franchise with 2 sequels already being worked on. The creators will be producing alongside Eric Coleman. They will be part of the Avatar Studios brand. So they started their own studio. The Avatar Studios banner that was first founded back in February 2021. Ramsey Naito, Paramount Animation and Nickelodeon president, offered the following statement. As original creators Mike and Brian expand the Avatar universe with us, we're keeping it all in the family with Lauren, bringing the same kind of expert, beautiful work she did on the original series to her new directing duties on the forthcoming theatrical. So yeah, man, just that alone, like they're bringing, it's the original creators doing everything. I'm really excited for this. Um, and the fact that it sounds like they said it's going to be, um, is it going to be a sequel? Oh, hang on. And Untitled. So we don't know what it is yet, like exactly what characters it's going to be covering. But the fact that they're doing this, I'm really looking forward to this. Like, obviously they have the Avatar comics and everything like that, and I don't know if if they say they're canon. I haven't read any of them, so I don't know if they're like officially still canon or not. But I would just like them to just wipe those away and just like do you know they don't even have to do their teenage years. Just go straight to adult years. And you're there, but then again, they're kind of constrained because they explored some of those themes, some of those things in Legend of Korra, which they can still do. They can still but there's still a rich story there to tell. So I would like to see a sequel, possibly, when they're adults, kind of like in their 20s, because it seemed like the Legend of Korra stuff that they showed us was like when they were like in their late 30s, early 40s, getting older. Like what happened in the age span when they were like in their 20s and things like that? Their adolescent years. So or not adolescent years, what is it? Their young adult years. So that would be fascinating to see. Or if it's just something completely different, like anything in the Avatar world, I'm so ready to see. I felt like Korra got unjustly pilloried. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. It was really dope. I like Legend of Korra a lot. Dude, when Kuvera beat the dog shit out of Korra, that was so amazing, dude. Like Kuvera is my favorite Avatar villain. Or no, I take that back. Zahir. Zahir was a fucking goon. Yo, Zahir was a fucking problem, dog. Yo, Zahir was a fucking problem. Yo, bruh. That fight between Zahir and Korra at the end, dude, she had the poison in her. That was like the Man of Steel fight. I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is so awesome, dude. Like, they're just like, oh my God, Zahir's flying around and shit. Oh my God. So, but anything in this universe, I'm so ready to see. Like, even if they take it further in the future, like it's more modern day. So Legend of Korra was like the 1920s version of the Avatar world. Like, I wouldn't mind if they went to I don't know, like this, like the 70s or 80s or even modern day, like now. Anything in that universe, I'm just ready to see. But like to me, make the hero good, but the villain, to me, Avatar is a lot like Star Wars in a way where their villains will make or break the franchise. Like the reason why The Last Airbender did so well was because the villains were amazing. Fire Lord Ozai, voiced by Mark Hamill, was dope. You didn't see him for like all three seasons, and then like the last season, you know, um, or all two, the first two. See how many? It was book one, book two, 14, whatever. However many. You didn't see the Fire Lord to the very last season, and he was still an impactful villain. And you really fucked this guy because he was a force of nature. You feel me, like dude. And then you had Azula coming in. Or actually, no, you saw Fire Lord Ozai, and did you see? I think you saw him in the last episode of the finals of the second to last season, I believe. But regardless, but then you had Azula. Like I said, Azula is my second favorite character. Like I really want to see what happened to her afterwards, and like some of the comic book was kind of unsatisfying. Some of the things in the comic book was unsatisfying to me. So that's why I like just wipe it away. Just ignore them. They're dope. Have them be like the Avatar world's equivalent of Star Wars Legends. So when Disney bought Star Wars, they basically said, yeah, all the canon you've read up to this, except for X, Y, and Z books, like these certain books are canon. Everything else is not canon no more. We're just going to shape it up, call it Legends. So Avatar should do that with the comic books. So that's just personally how I feel, because I want to see them explore these characters when they're adults without the constraints of you know, previous canon when they didn't know, previous content, that tells the story after when they didn't know they were going to get, they didn't know this future was going to pan out where they can like explore this world more. So that's what I'm saying. So give us that, but also give us new stuff as well. Cause I know they're doing like a Kyoshi movie, or a show. I think it's a movie actually. Like I'm gonna look into it more and I'll do an episode about, or I'll do a stream. I'll do a segment in a stream about, going to all of the properties and everything. But I just wanted to talk about that real quick because I thought it was cool. So anything Avatar, I'm all for. I cannot wait to see this. Also, I'm looking, I want to see what Netflix has to offer because as we know, the Sham Hammer, as I like to call him, M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, or the Sham Hammer. Oh my God, dude. I saw that movie. That movie came out my freshman year of high school. That movie was so bad. I remember when I left the theater, I literally went to the box office and I asked for my ticket back or for my money back. I was like, yo, can I get my money back? He was like, why? Did you go see your movie? I was like, yeah, and that shit was trash. I didn't say like that shit was trash. I was like, yeah, but it was bad. Can I get my money back? And the guy just laughed. He was like, kid, get out of here. Go away. I'm sorry. You got what you got, okay? Blame the Sham Hammer. Go ask the Sham Hammer for your money back. And then I proceeded to write out a strongly worded letter asking M. Night Shyamalan for my movie back. But no, I didn't do that, but still. So look, I want to see what Netflix has to offer with it too. So the concept art looked cool. We haven't really seen much on that front, but who knows? We'll see. But from these guys, the original creators, man, I cannot wait to see what they have to offer going forward in this universe. So yeah, we'll see. And actually, guys, I think I'm going to close the stream out there. I'll cover the other article. Um, you know, probably on another stream or something like that because your boy's tired. I'm ready to go to bed. But everybody that watched, I appreciate you guys joining me for this stream. I'm gonna try and do these on Saturdays. I'll probably do them earlier in the evening, like 7 or 8 next Saturday. So look out for it. I'm gonna keep trying to do these little streams and everything. Look out for the next episode of Extendo Clip Podcast is going to be dropping soon. Me and Shizz are actually going to recording the next episode tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully soon. I'm gonna try to live stream our episode soon. We'll see. We'll work that out. I got to talk to my producer, to the guy who produces the show, Aaron, aka Young Trey. Yeah, I got to talk to him to see if that's a feasible thing that we can do because that would be fascinating. I would like to do it live. So we'll see. But yeah, guys. With that being said, thanks for tuning in. Peace. Be easy.